Absolutely love the arrangement and the choice of instruments on that. Dottie Cambridge and her version of the Sir Douglas Quintet song She's About to Move Her, written by Doug Sam, a 1967 cover. And you might think that you've never heard of Dottie Cambridge, but her real name is Dorothy Moore of Misty Blue fame. There you go, recorded for the famous Malaco label in Jackson, Mississippi. That's it from me. Thanks so much for listening. This is BBC Radio 2 and the BBC Sounds Up in your smart speaker and on 88 to 191 FM.
O'clock, this is Harvey Cook. The BBC understands that the Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng will bring forward the release of his plan to cut the UK's debt after he was attacked for previously saying he'd wait until the end of November. He's now expected to release the plan along with official forecasts for the economy later this month. The move comes shortly after Mr Kwarteng reversed the widely criticised decision to give a tax cut to the top earners in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Labour Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves says the government was wrong to try to cut taxes for the wealthiest.
It was obvious they weren't going to get this through the House of Commons. They were forced into this screeching U-turn, but so much damage has already been done with higher government borrowing costs and huge worries for people about how they're going to afford their mortgages.
The UK is facing a significant risk of gas shortages this winter, according to the energy regulator. Ofgem warned that the conflict in Ukraine could prompt a supply emergency, which could lead to power stations which use gas to generate electricity not being able to operate. A woman has died after being attacked by dogs in a house in Liverpool. Merseyside police are investigating the incident, as Yanis Muller reports.
Paramedics found the dogs had attacked a woman in her home in the Kirkdale area of Liverpool just before 4:30 this afternoon. The victim, who was in her 60s, died at the scene. Her relatives have been informed. Detectives say they can understand the shock this incident will cause and have appealed for anyone with information to come forward. Merseyside police have begun an investigation and a cordon is in place at the scene.
The barrister leading an independent review into the conduct of the former Radio 1 DJ Tim Westwood at the BBC has called for evidence. The corporation acknowledged 6 complaints about bullying and sexual misconduct in relation to Mr Westwood, which he denies. A Swedish geneticist has won the Nobel Prize for Medicine for achieving what's been described as the seemingly impossible task of cracking the genetic code of Neanderthals. Svante Päälo had to work with old, degraded and contaminated genetic material to successfully analyse the DNA, as he explains here.
The genetic material from old tissue remains, particularly bones, that are found at excavations by archaeologists and paleontologists. And when we had sort of worked out most of the methods to do that, we sort of focused on Neanderthals and have been able to retrieve a high-quality genome of Neanderthals and some other relatives.
King Charles has made his first public engagement with the Queen Consort since the royal mourning period for the late Queen ended. He conferred city status on Dunfermline, saying it would gladden his dear mother's heart to see the former town given the honour. And the weather: Northern Ireland and the northwest will see heavy rain overnight, extending across much of Scotland by dawn. Largely dry elsewhere, with some cloud, but also some clear spells. That's the BBC News at 3 minutes past 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go!
DJ Spoonie, Magnificent 7.
Good evening, yours truly, DJ Spoonie, in for Trevor tonight and all this week, actually. Time now for the Magnificent 7. Music incoming from Whitney Houston and George Michael. We're going to hear a classic from In Deep, something from Evelyn Champagne King, and a banger from The Ruler.
The Magnificent 7 on BBC Radio 2.
When I say The Ruler,